Have you ever felt like there's a radio station stuck on in your head that you just can't turn off? You know, that constant, nonstop chatter? Well, today we're going to figure out what that voice actually is, and more importantly, how we can finally get a handle on it. So, this all kicks off with a story from a student studying to be a chartered accountant. Now, she'd recently failed a really big exam. But the real problem, the thing that was eating her up, wasn't just the failure. It was the thought of it. A month later, it's still there, just echoing in her mind. It was the pain of what she felt she missed out on. And that feeling, I think we all know what that's like. You see, this student's problem isn't just her problem. It's a universal human thing, right? It's that feeling of your brain getting caught in a loop. It's just replaying the past, worrying about the future, over and over again, and it makes it almost impossible to focus on what you actually need to do, right now. And this gets to the heart of the trap our minds set for us. We get caught between two different kinds of pain. On one side, you've got the sting of what actually happened, the failure. But on the other side, there's this ghost, this fantasy of what could have been. So we're just bouncing between a painful reality and a painful fantasy, and it's impossible to move forward. The result is something like this. Just imagine your brain as a computer screen. You try to pin one important thought on it, something like, okay, time to study. But then, whoosh, a tidal wave of other thoughts, old memories, future worries, what ifs, it all comes flooding in and just washes that one important thought away. It just can't stick. So what do we do about it? I bet you've heard the advice a million times. Just be positive. Think positive thoughts. But what if that advice is not just wrong, but it's actually making things worse? Let's dig into that. Here's the big idea. We're so used to labeling our thoughts as either positive or negative. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? What if thoughts are just thoughts? Think about it. A happy daydream about a vacation is just as much of a distraction from your work as a painful memory. They both pull you away from what you're doing right here, right now. So instead of aiming for positive thinking, let's aim for something way more powerful. Right thinking. You see, positive thinking is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes a ton of effort, and the moment you let go, it pops right back up. Right thinking, on the other hand, is about understanding what thought actually is so you don't have to fight it anymore. And this chart shows you exactly why positive thinking is such a losing battle. Look at it. Negative thoughts, zero effort. They just flow. They're the mind's default setting, like a river flowing downhill. But positive thoughts? Man, that takes constant energy. You're always pushing, always forcing it. It's absolutely exhausting. Okay, so to really get control here, we have to go deeper. We need to stop sorting thoughts into piles of good and bad, and instead ask a much more basic question. What is a thought really? Now, really, let's just pause on this for a second. What is this thing that runs our lives? This internal voice. Before we can even dream of managing it, we have to know what it is we're dealing with. And the answer is surprisingly simple. A thought is just language. That's it. It's the act of talking to yourself inside your head. Every single thought you have, from what to eat for lunch to your deepest fears, is built out of words and symbols. Hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's do a little experiment. Try it right now. I'm serious. Try to think of anything at all. Your plans for this evening, a person you know, anything. But do it without using a single word or a mental image. Can you do it? You can't. It's impossible. Because thought is language. And once you get that, it leads to this massive realization. The word is not the thing, right? The word water written on a piece of paper can't quench your thirst. You need the actual stuff. In the same way, we suffer so much because we confuse the thought of failure with the real event. The event is done. It's over. But we keep torturing ourselves with the word, with the label. So if a thought is just language, and language is just a bunch of labels, then what's it for? This is where everything shifts. We stop seeing thought as this source of constant pain and start seeing it for what it is, a tool. So let's ask another really basic question. Why do we even have language? Why did we evolve this incredibly complex system of sounds and symbols? What is its fundamental job? And the answer is just so beautifully simple. Language exists for one main reason: communication. That's it, to communicate with other people or to communicate with ourselves to figure something out. It's a tool to solve a problem or get a job done. It's practical.
So if thought is a tool, we should treat it like one. Think about a screwdriver. You see a screw that needs tightening, you pick up the tool, you use it, you tighten the screw. And then, and this is the part we always forget, you put the tool down. You don't walk around with a screwdriver in your hand all day, right? But that's exactly what we do with our thoughts.
And we've all been there. When we're just replaying a mistake over and over in our head, that's holding on to the tool long after the job is done. When we create these elaborate stories about why we failed or ask, why me? We're literally using a tool for problem solving to poke ourselves and create pain. We're turning it into an instrument of torture.
So, what happens when we finally learn to use this tool the right way? What's on the other side? Well, what we get is a state of mental silence, of amazing clarity and true freedom. This is the goal. Now, a thoughtless state sounds kind of scary, like a dead brain or something, but it's the exact opposite. Think of it more like a brand new computer that you've just taken out of the box. It's silent, but it's super fast, powerful, and ready for anything you throw at it. It's a state of peak awareness, totally free from all that useless clutter. This is the key to using your past correctly. Memory itself isn't good or bad. It's how you use the tool of thought to access it. You can pick up the tool to look at a memory, analyze why you failed, and actually learn something. That's productive. Or you can pick up the same tool to just hit replay on the pain over and over. That's suffering. The choice is yours. And here is the ultimate payoff. When you really truly get this psychological fear, the fear of what might happen, the what ifs, it just dissolves. You realize that fear is just language. It's just a story that you're telling yourself about a future that doesn't even exist yet. And when you see it's just words, it loses all its power over you. In the end, it really just boils down to this one simple, powerful truth. The problem isn't out there in the world. The problem is in here. We think so much that we paralyze ourselves, and we end up doing way too little. So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with one final question to carry with you. Your thoughts, that internal language, they're a tool that's meant to be picked up for a specific job, used, and then put back down. So the question is, right now, in your life, are you in control of the tool, or is the tool in control of you?